Good morning, Minnesota DFLers, and welcome to the DFL Daily. Richard Carlbaum here, chair of the Minnesota Democratic Farmer Labor Party. We're here every day, Monday through Friday at 10:45 a.m., giving you the message, the actions, and the tools to take one more concrete step toward winning big in the 2026 midterm election this November. Before we get into today's topic, I just want to really emphasize something really, really important. This weekend, we are 100 days out from the November 3rd midterm election. We are launching a massive weekend of action to mark this 100 days out. We're dropping in the chat right now links for you to share with your networks. We need to sign up as many people as possible. We want to hit as many doors as we can this weekend. The weather looks like it's going to be pretty good, and so we want to do everything we can to reach voters and listen to them at their door. We want to meet them where they're at, in their communities, and hear what's important to them. One thing new on our script this year in 2026 is we don't launch right into our persuasion script about why folks should vote for Democrats. Instead, we actually start with a very simple question. How are things going for you? How are things going for you? And then we listen. I hope you will do everything you can to help us promote our weekend of action, get the word out about this, encourage people to sign up for as many volunteer shifts, as many canvas shifts as they can this weekend. We'll be launching them throughout the state. We'll be launching them in the suburbs and in greater Minnesota. We're going to have all of our candidates out there. Door knocking as well. It's going to be a really important weekend of action. Let's make sure that we hit our mark on this. So please, please, please share this volunteer link out as far and wide as you can to really make sure people understand how important this weekend of action is. We're 100 days out. It's go time. All right. All of them can be found at dfl.org/events and on Mobilize. So please check that out when you can. All right, we're going to get into today's topic. This week, we've been talking about broken promises. And today, I want to zoom in on one of the biggest broken promises Donald Trump made to the American people. Before the 2024 election, Donald Trump made a direct promise to the American people: no new wars. He would end conflict, not start it. He would invest in Americans, not in military operations overseas. Like so many before it, that promise is broken, and we are footing the bill for his lies. Let's walk through where things stand today. First of all, the war. It's been 144 days since the Iran war began, and the United States is now in its second week of new active strikes against Iran. 11 consecutive nights of military operations as of this morning. 18 American service members have been killed since the war began. Iran has responded by attacking ships in the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical shipping corridors. We've also discussed it previously in our episodes about Minnesota farmers, but roughly 1/3 of the world's fertilizer moves through the Strait of Hormuz. So do massive amounts of petroleum and other essential goods. Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, has claimed the strait remains open. That's a lie, all while Iran continues to attack ships in it. For reference, Hegseth called this war, quote, a historic and overwhelming victory that left Iran's military, quote, combat ineffective. Those quotes are almost 4 months old. Hegseth is not Minnesota's greatest export. The costs at home, here's what it means for Minnesota families right now. It's real costs. Gas has once again hit $4 a gallon nationwide for the second time this year, driven directly by this conflict. I am obsessed with the AAA gas monitor. If you haven't looked it up, you can Google AAA gas monitor, and you can literally see the regional gas prices on a daily basis and how they change. I got to tell you, places like southern Minnesota, Rochester, Olmsted County, Mankato, they are being hit some of the hardest in terms of increases, and Brad Finstad supports this war in Iran. Oil is back now near $95 a barrel. Minnesota families have already spent $867 million more on gas alone since the escalation began. That's $403 more per household. It doesn't stop at the pump. Americans spent more than $1,000 per household on higher prices for gas, food, and everyday necessities combined since Trump's war began. Why is that? Because diesel fuel is how we get goods to market. Diesel fuel often operates our trains, our semi trucks. That's how we get these goods to market. And when diesel fuel goes up, the costs of those goods in the market go up as well. It's that direct. ACA deductibles are at a record $3,786. Monthly premiums are up $780 per year. A family of four making $70,000 is paying $265 more every single month for health coverage. The cuts to healthcare are funding his war of choice against Iran. And then finally, Minnesota farm bankruptcies are trending towards their highest rate since the pandemic. Food shelf use is up. Minnesotans are hurting because of this war of choice. And our four Republicans in Congress, Brad Finstead, Tom Emmer, Michelle Fischbach, and Pete Stauber, support it all the way. They protected it and supported this war of choice all the way. Economists are warning the worst may still be ahead. Potential shortages of petroleum, helium, and fertilizer threaten to push prices higher on everything from groceries to cars to household appliances. Now, here's the politics. Here's something worth noting in the midst of all this. Even Trump's own base is starting to turn, except for the four Republicans in Congress in Minnesota. A new political poll out this week found just over 1/3 of self-identified MAGA voters now think the war is worth its economic cost, down from half. So only this week, just over 1/3 of self-identified MAGA folks think the war is worth the economic cost. That's down from half in May. That's a 13-point drop in 2 months. Nearly 1 in 5 MAGA voters say the U.S. should end the war regardless of the cost. When asked about an exit, Trump said Tuesday that Iran, quote, wants to desperately meet, but that the U.S. has, quote, no interest in even talking until they do so on his terms. There's no clear end in sight. Meanwhile, Trump promoted Freedom Fuel gas stations, advertised earlier this month as a solution to rising gas prices, having quietly dropped their discounted prices. Even that was short-lived. So, folks, here's the action and the tools we're going to give you. Republicans promise no new wars. They promise to invest in Americans. They promise to make life more affordable. Instead, 18 service members are dead. Gas is at $4 a gallon. Groceries cost more. Healthcare costs more. That's what broken promises look like, and the impact is real. And it's exactly what we need to remind voters all the way to November. So here's your action today. Share some quotes. At the RNC in 2024, Trump said, with our victory in November, the years of war, weakness, and chaos will be over. I don't have wars, unquote. Well, that's bullshit. In March, he claimed, I don't like to say this. We've won this. This war's been won. That's bullshit. And then Hegseth declared epic fury a, quote, historic, overwhelming victory that rendered Iran's military combat ineffective for years to come. That's bullshit. We're 144 days into this war. We have 104 days until the November 3rd midterm election, until we put a stop to this madness and this chaos and this confusion that the Trump administration puts Americans and Minnesotans in every single day. We know that Pete Stauber, Tom Emmer, Michelle Fischbach, and Brad Finstead will not stand up for Minnesotans. That's clear as day. We can stand up for one another. We can stand with one another. We can look to one another and support our efforts to make sure that we talk to every voter we can. So sign up for our weekend of action this weekend with 100 days out. We'll drop that link in the chat again. Let's go door knock this weekend. Let's have conversations with our neighbors. Let's listen to what their concerns are. Let's ask them how they're doing, and then let's go win this thing. Thanks, everybody.